Hello. Are you sleeping? No coma food. No food coma. Sorry, food coma. I will wake you up hopefully. Right. So there must be a paper and a pen next to you. If you can make sure you have one, a paper and a pen. Yes. I'm gonna make you think. I'm gonna make you interact, and you're gonna wake up. Right. So who am I and what am I? Why am I here? I don't know how they contacted me, so I don't know how I am here, but I will tell you why I am here. So we are a group of companies um, that have been created one after the other. One is a marketing uh, agency. The other one is a blog specialized on social media. And the other one is an academy online on social media marketing. So my name is Mili Ponce, and I make sure I put it there because most people can't spell it. So if you want to follow me on social media or anything, that's actually how it's spelled. I'm originally from Peru. Has anybody been in Peru? I've met lots of people that were in Peru. None of them is here. Right, okay. So most people think that I come from these places, but I actually come from these places. Okay, so that's an idea that people have from Peru. They ask me if I go around in llamas, in llamas, or if I live in a floating island. I've actually never been here, but I've been there. So no, I come from the cities, from the actual capital. I actually live right in front here, but most of the time I'm in England. So my daughter is born in England, and she only wants to live in England. There you go. So what do we do? All three companies are dedicated to research. So we're not the agency that does your website or does your social media. That's not the kind of company we are. We do actual research. We test and we train and consult. So if something comes up, for example, now NFTs and blockchain, which is considered social media, I won't explain why at this speaking, but yeah, when something comes new, we learn about it, we research, we test it, and we train and consult companies. We work with B2B companies and B2C companies. So then what we do, we organize conferences, mainly in Australia, New Zealand, China, United States, South America, and some in England. We run workshops, and we run webinars, mainly to train marketing agencies or marketing departments in companies. So what do we research? What we actually research about, what we focus on? We focus on human behavior online, website visits conversion and return on investment, lead generation and database conversion, the influence of social media and website conversion, buyers changing habits, which is really important. I think sometimes most companies don't realize that different generations have completely different buying habits, and even though people know it, they don't actually understand it. B2B marketing on social media, which is really interesting. Most B2B companies think that social media is not the place to be. We work with many companies, loads in the UK. We introduced Costa Coffee to social media. Many, many years ago, we worked with Booking.com and many different companies in England and other countries. So these are the different countries that we actually have a team. So we are 24 in the UK and 30 all abroad in different countries. They're not freelancers, they're actually part of the team. But that's where our clients are. So that's where we work and normally where I speak. So by doing what I do, I've met really interesting people. That's Jack Dorsey, the owner of Twitter, the founder of LinkedIn. Thank you, I never remember his name. And well, some celebrities. Why not? But it's been a great experience for me to do this. So today I'm going to talk about website conversion and how to bring warm leads. Because most of the time the problem is not the website, it's actually that you're bringing the wrong people to the website. So I'm going to talk about both things. So if I ask you what's the conversion rate of your website, first I want to ask how many of you actually have your own company? Okay. So if I ask you, do you have a website? Do you know the conversion rate of your website? Okay. So what about you, Eva? You don't know. Okay, well, this is what I always say. Why the hell do you know the conversion rate of your website? You must have it because even though if you work with B2B, even though you work with big companies, some companies will research for the services that you offer and they might not understand what you do and what you do for them. This is just some people prefer not to know because it might be really bad, and some people just prefer to say everything is okay. Our team is on it, right? Which, yeah, that's a way to escape it. So, if I ask Ivo, I don't know, am I pronouncing it correct? Excellent. What does your company do, and what does it do for me if I was a typical client? What would you say? Okay. So we're going to have an exercise. You all have a paper, right? So we have you two own the same company, so you can be in the same team. So let's put a team this way and a team this way helping you. I want you to find a way to tell me what can you do for me in only one sentence with maximum. Oh. Ah. I know it's the second time I do it. So I want you to explain to me in one sentence, maximum 7 words, what can you do for my company? Okay, so can we want to? So do you mind sitting there? And maybe one of you come and sit here. This is a teamwork. You're gonna have to help him to explain to me in one sentence. Well, you have a company, so. So here we have 2 companies. You have to explain to me in 7 words maximum, one sentence, what can you do for me? Not what you do, but what you can do for me. Okay? I'll give you 5 minutes. 5. Okay, 10 minutes. No, too much. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I start the counting now.
I think they're already looking at cat photos over there. Yeah, they change gender. Yeah, just we will make you reach it.
Have you hit a sentence?
That's the limit.
He's gonna look at it. Okay, and you think that that is very...
We will think about one more.
Yeah, I think you'll think about another one. Maybe you change your mind.
No, but I just say that it's 7 words.
Oh, that's true. It is so important.
What you can do.
I'll suggest another one. Yeah.
That's a puzzle.
You have to imagine that I found you on Google, so I don't know anything about it. Right. It will be nice.
Right words, right?
Perfect.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Done.
Ready? So, if I search on Google and I know nothing about you, nobody recommended you, I wouldn't understand what you do for me. What you can do for me.
It's a tricky question because the website's only in German, so if I tell you the English sentence and you Google that, it probably won't lead to my website.
That's okay, do it in English. I do understand German, but I'm not going to try it.
I can do it in German too if you want.
No, it's okay. In English. My German is rusty.
So you can have the sentence now. You want to hear the sentence?
Not yet. Are you ready?
Are we ready?
Then I'm sure.
We are born ready.
Okay, you're born ready. Okay, so I'm gonna write it here.
Okay.
Okay, let's start with them. So, what's your sentence? Not that one.
Not that one.
I actually suggest that banner has to change.
No, the,
Let's see what you come up with.
no, the thing is, I wrote this down without looking at it. So
Good, good.
So
What is it?
I mean, it's the same as it says here.
You wrote the same-
I have a trouble finding a different message.
Okay, we go for them. You have to try another one.
Okay.
Right, okay. What's yours? In English. A tailor-made e-commerce solution? Okay. I'll give them more time. Right. So this is clear. I understand what you do. But it doesn't say what you do for me. So I found you, but what's in there for me? What are you doing for me? Where is the value to me of what you do? Okay. You're into something? Yes?
Since this is a conversion rate session, increase your conversion rate. E-commerce conversion rates.
Okay. Is that what you do? Yeah?
And make an e-commerce experience for your customer.
Better. Thank you.
Something more after.
You need marketing in here.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh, for your customer? Yeah.
Exchange cards afterwards.
So actually sell your services.
Sorry?
Sell your services online.
Okay.
The
I like all the
sentence.
other three, but yeah, okay.
Just go ahead.
Right.
Mili,
So-
we have our sentence as well.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do it in the next paper.
Okay.
So now, how could you put all these 4 sentences in one? Because that's very long as a.
Increase your ROI, comma, with lots of commas.
Make an acronym.
So I'm an e-commerce person, which actually I run 5 shops online. So I'm an e-commerce person, and I get to your website. How do you get me immediately by telling me what problem are you solving to me? Because that's the important thing.
You are not happy with your e-commerce and you think that fit your business.
To generic.
Blogger, please.
How did you find our website? What did you Google?
So what do e-commerce people care about? It's not just making money. Most people will say making money, but it's not just that, right?
That the customers are satisfied.
Better experience.
So, would,
You-
good, yeah, helping the other team.
The entire process of like from ordering all the way to the product is delivered to the customer works flawless.
I like that.
You
That's good.
decrease number of unsatisfied customers.
Reduce your internal costs as well.
That's another important thing. Yes.
You want to spend less time.
But I want one sentence. I will say, I need these people.
Customer
That's not bad.
Looking especially when you looked at, when you presented your slides where you all active and when you run all these shops in those countries, we can do commerce solutions in Europe, in the US, and in Asia.
I like that because it's quite specific and unique. So let's put it here and improve it. So what did you say? Repeat. I forgot to.
You know I'm suffering from Alzheimer's. So.
Good excuse.
No, a good excuse. What did I just say? Is that we create unique e-commerce solutions in worldwide. But worldwide sounds too generic, so I can say in Europe, in the US, and in China.
Okay, can you repeat it? No, I'm the Alzheimer. Okay, we create
Unique e-commerce solutions in Europe, the US, and Asia, or China. China, you can write whatever, both words.
US, Asia. Yeah, this is the least important. We create unique e-commerce solutions. I would say we create unique e-commerce experience.
I changed it on the website afterwards.
We create unique e-commerce experience in US, Asia. Okay, that's better. I'm almost happy with that one. It's not perfect, but yeah.
Nothing's perfect, right?
It's
What
not
does
bad.
it mean unique?
Unique, basically better than many others. Unique, like in my shop, we have a unique experience that you don't get in other shops.
Unique also means, like to us, unique means really like fulfilling your demands and your clients' demands.
Exactly. Okay, so that's not too bad. Okay. So now,
gotta
you.
prove it.
Yes, you have to prove it, but you're somewhere there now.
We help you to engage
Mike.
better. Oh, sorry. We help you to engage better with your customers.
We help you?
To engage
Okay. Engage where?
better with your customers.
Online. With your customers. So they have to be customers already. What about if I just found you? I'm not a customer. You put me off.
With their customers. The clients'
I know.
customers.
But the clients oh, so you only help them with solutions for their customers, not with new people that come to them.
It could be potential customers as well.
Users. Users, maybe better users.
I'll give you 5 more minutes. Okay. Oh, you want to help? Perfect. Yes. How would you put this better?
We help you to better engage online.
To engage better online? That's better than that already. But we need something after
We'll help,
better.
we help your business to engage better online.
I like that. That sounds better. We help your business. Engage. We help your business engage better online. There's something about English that is not properly there, but you're somewhere. Okay, but it's better. So basically, you have to make people feel you're talking to them. So if I need help with people that are not my clients yet, then it puts me off. Continue reading your website. So these kind of sentences are the first ones that people will, depending on what you say, they will continue look at your website or they will go. Right? So this is what makes it's the most important thing for bounce rate. We all know what bounce rate is, right? So if you don't have the right message, straight away as I open the website, I'm gonna go. So an average of good bounce rate is between 40% and 50%. Does any of you know the bounce rate? Yours is new. Do you know your bounce rate? No. Homepage, mainly.
Yeah, probably around maybe 60.
60%? Okay, will be high. Right, so that's the first thing that we have to keep in mind. Now, we're selling here our business. But if we think about it, we need to get used to sell ourselves, our business, everything. Even when you date, you're selling yourself, right? I know people hate the word sales. I used to hate it. And marketing is just glorified sales, really. Marketeers don't like to accept that, but it's true. So you really need to start getting in the thoughts of how do I sell everything. When I talk about my company, when you meet someone, so I've been asking people what you do yesterday on purpose, and nobody straight away told me what they do. Okay, nobody. When I ask someone what you do, they go, "Oh, it's complicated. Oh, that's a tricky question. Let me think about it." But nobody gave me a straight answer. And that already makes a difference. When you talk to friends, people you network with, you go to conferences, you have to be able to say what you do. You need to say it in one sentence because you don't want to give a whole story about your life and how you get to do what you do when you don't know the person, right? So that's very important, and that should show in your website. What do you do? And if you tell me what you do and then I go to your website, it should show exactly the same. Because that's what I expected. I went to the website because you told me what you do and that's what I want, right? So I mean, this is nothing personal, right? But I think going to the NetGen website, you invited me, so I went to the NetGen website, I researched, I Google, I asked people yesterday, and I wasn't sure what you do. I wasn't clear who your target market is. So who are your clients? So I asked you, well, who are your clients? I was trying to figure out because I was like, how can it be so hard to understand what these guys do? You see, so but this happens to most companies. It happens to most companies that do B2B. Companies that are B2C, business to consumers, they have a much better idea. But when it's B2B, they seem to be themselves confused about what they do, right? So you really have to have a clear idea, and that needs to show on your website. It makes a huge difference in conversion rate because I visit websites all the time and I have no idea what they do. And I don't know what they can do for me, because the important thing is not what you do, but what can you do for me? Like when you explain what your company does, it's clear, but what can you do for me? Even I run shops for 10 years now. I run shops for other people. I still couldn't see, does anybody here does something that I might need? I don't know, even though I know what you do. So you have to be really clear about what you do to actual clients, know what you do. Okay, so when you meet people as well and they ask you what you do, don't tell them what you do, tell them what you can do for them. So that sentence of what you do needs to change. It's not one way, it's two ways. It's we do this and we do this for people. So then it's clear in one sentence. That's it. Okay, so then we have what is unique about you. So same teams. I want you to tell me what you do different than any of your competitors. Why do I have to choose you in one sentence? Okay? In one sentence, tell me why I have to choose you and not your customers. I'll give you a few minutes.
Getting better with you guys.
I think that the problem with
Shouldn't be
B2B,
that difficult to think about it, should it? When you started the business, what did you think you were doing better?
yeah, the problem is that you mentioned B2B versus B2C, and we usually solve problems for our clients, the B2B model, and we have many clients selling have one product and saying, okay, we build the cars that you drive. We do a lot of different things.
Okay.
So it's very hard to put everything in one sentence that we do because we do a lot of things. We help them with their online problems.
But as a company,
Yes.
what is unique about you? It doesn't need to be about the service you do. It can be as a company. What is better about your company than
Our approach is better than
There you go, that's one thing.
we
Now
like,
put it in a sentence.
we like to invest vast amount of energy. Yeah, that's we get quite emotional about that. So we
You see, that's the kind of things I'm trying to get. So it's not about the specific service you give, but it's about you as a company. Because if you realize nowadays, in the last 10 years, it's more important. For example, I used to be an IT manager. I worked for Siemens. And to choose what laptops we would give the whole team, it was about what company had not better laptops, but better customer service. The service and the product was irrelevant to us. It was who can actually, we can call and can come to solve the problem. How good the laptop was, it was irrelevant.
Yeah, but sorry. But the problems that we are dealing with are more complex, and even the long talk or maybe 2 or 3 meetings cannot get to the bottom of that problem, even for some companies that you know. So it's hard to put it on some pitch, you know, line of text and expect that they will hook up, you know, because you've done your research.
But maybe you say something that the customer says, I've been having, like customer service. It's a nightmare to do with customer service of HP and many other companies. When you call Dell, at least in the UK, they answer straight away. They are in the office straight away. So irrelevant of how long it will take them to fix it, they're there. So you know they're solving the problem. And that's one of the best things about Dell, at least in the UK. So.
But I have to add what Jeroen just said before. It also, I mean, totally right what you just said. And the other thing is also that the know-how of the customers is different as well.
Yeah.
Right? So we have customers that, I mean, the best example is the difference between Germany and Austria in regards to IT know-how on a chief marketing officer level. And we had this discussion yesterday that, for example, in Germany, a CMO, when you apply for a job as a CMO, there's requirement in experience with PIM systems and whatnot, and even some know-how in ERP system. And a marketing person in Austria tells you straight in your face, leave me alone with this, go to my IT guy, right? So in that way already is the sentence has to be different because of the know-how of the person. But if you ask me spontaneously about what is unique about a company that I'm managing, where I'm partly
As
owning,
a company.
is German know-how with Austrian charm combined with know-how in China.
I like that. That is impressive. There you go. That's very good.
Basically means Germans know a lot. Austrian can only
Exactly.
make bonuses with their charm, but they have no idea. I'm Austrian, so I can joke about this. And yeah, and
And it's friendly. It's open. It's exactly that's what I was looking for. I was looking for something that will capture my interest, not just as a business owner, but as I really need to read what these guys do. Because you go to websites that you don't actually want to read what they do, and you don't even know what they do, because it just looks like they have no interest in what I need. So basically, there are websites that just tell you, we do this, and they have so many services, like 100 services, and you have to read them. So you have to convince them to read them. If you do a lot different services to a lot of different type of industries, then you've got to put them in the mood to read it. And for that, you have to capture their attention. And just because it's a business owner or it's a massive company, it doesn't mean that the person searching, this is something that sometimes people forget. We work with businesses. Businesses don't do this. Businesses are run by people, and the people searching on Google is a person. The actual business is not looking on Google. So you're still treating, you're dealing with a person. And you want that person to go ahead and read your website. So, repeat what you said.
Charm. And Asia experience.
You see, that says a lot. So now I'm interested to read what you do. So do you have yours now?
We team up or we partner with your digital project to make it successful.
What was the first words?
We partner or we team up on that.
We partner.
We partner with you or we help you to make your digital project successful.
And other companies don't do that? I like more what he said earlier.
Yeah, I would add that maybe we have a unique process which is cooked in, which is a result of 2 decades of work. So maybe something which is.
That makes already a difference, because most companies nowadays are quite new, or they're 6 years old, 10 years old, and all. Okay.
We have a unique process that includes a lot of arguing. I know it sounds funny, but as I said, we get quite emotional. So we call this arguing.
Okay.
And because we
argue with you. Can I suggest to make the project better? We even argue.
What about instead of using the word argue, which in English is quite negative,
Yes, yes.
brainstorm? Maybe? Brainstorm?
Not the same.
No, it's not the same, but argue.
We use it, you.
When you brainstorm, you do argue.
We
Challenge you, I like that.
Challenge, yeah.
We challenge you based on 20 years experience.
Yeah, challenge you, there you go. We challenge you.
But we challenge ourselves as well. That's quite unique when we talk about netting, for example, because we really challenge, we try to challenge different persons inside the company with the problem of our client, with our client's problem. So that way we can try to iterate and to have more approaches, different approaches and compare them. So,
we challenge.
Again, I go to
call it
brainstorm,
arguing.
right? That's what you do when you brainstorm. You argue, you challenge each other.
Yes.
No?
Well, a lot of similar other agencies might just do whatever client says.
Okay, so that's why I like the challenge or the brainstorming or the arguing. It's just arguing is such a negative word. So we can say,
We challenge you with our 20 years experience.
what about if we brainstorm together to find the best solution
Something like that.
based on our 20 years experience?
Something
Something
like
like that?
I think there's Croatian feedback, so that was awesome.
that. Amazing.
Okay, good. This is the first time I'm speaking Croatian, so every country is different. You at least smile. That's good.
This is a very mild session of arguing. Our sessions are much longer.
So we help you to brainstorm and implement.
Solve the problems that you didn't know you have.
Yeah. That's what I do in my job a lot. As I'm a consultant, people don't even know they have a problem. We help you to brainstorm and find.
We solve problems you don't know you have.
We take your problems personally.
And
Isn't that catchy?
We
We
make
have-
your problems bigger.
Like a
I like that. That's why I've never been married.
We
To
will
my-
marry you.
Well, I wouldn't take your company. I don't get married. To brainstorm and let's say find the best solutions based on our 20 years. It's important to say the 20 years experience. Yes, and most companies don't have that amount of experience on anything digital, right? They're
And I
only
think another unique thing about NetGen is their employees are like, I think 5 years in average. I think that's a lot.
6.8.
How much?
6.8.
6.8, so I think that's kind of a
6.8 what?
record in IT or something.
You mean how long they stay in the company?
Yes, averagely,
Oh wow.
including students.
Oh. Okay. Right. So what you want to have in your homepage, in your, before the fold, is what you do for them, not what you do for them, and what's unique about you. Okay? So that's your USP. You don't know what your conversion rate is, and yours is new. So we're not going to talk about that at the moment. So do you know where most of your visits come from?
PHP.
Do you know where they come from to your website? Like from SEO? Do they come from conferences?
Mostly SERP,
Okay,
mostly SERP and mostly Europe.
okay. But where, like what channel do they come from? From Google,
Google,
from
yeah, SERP
paid?
pages, yes.
No, so maybe that's why I want to. So paid, do you pay for the traffic?
Well, we are still not paying, but we are working on a new website, and we have a completely new strategy, and Wisla should attend this.
Okay.
Yeah, but we will start to do it quite soon, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, and the two German partners who also have like 2 decades of experience in that new established company. Also, they told me that either Google AdWords campaign they're doing or with personal, like the lead management people just get it also out there. Like they.
Okay, and that's mainly where they're gonna come from, because the website is it running already or?
Well, the 2 German partners and websites exist quite along, but I don't have the details of the conversion rates from my 2 German partners. That's what I'm saying, but they told me
Okay.
that they do it like that.
Okay, good. So, where do your clients come from? So, local, Europe, or worldwide? So let's start with you.
For the Austrian part, Austrian. For the other 2 partners, it's a DACH region. I don't know if you're familiar with that expression, DACH region.
No.
Deutschland, Österreich, Schweiz.
Okay.
Germany, Austria, Switzerland.
Okay. And yours?
Around Europe.
Europe mainly.
Yeah,
Okay,
Europe.
so it's quite local. All right, we're going to talk about Europe is quite local. I mean, it's quite local in the sense of it's the same continent, so that's okay. Sorry, I come from a big area of the world.
We had clients in Armenia, Togo, we had Vietnam, Iraq.
This is the kind of reaction when I say that the Alps are hills. And people are like, they're mountains. Okay, if you want to call it mountain. I know. Just, I call mountains something a lot bigger than that, but yeah, that's okay. So in generally, when we research about people's behaviors and how people react to a website when they come to a website, we have our own types of websites. So we can talk about what type of website the client has. So we have the leaflet websites, right? Where you send people, you already met the person, where you say, if you want to know what we do, go to my website. So that's what we call the leaflet website. Then we have a lead generation website. So are the ones that capture your details so they can do the email marketing. Then we have sales websites. We call them sales rep websites because these are the websites that the clients say, I want to get more sales of services or products in my website. So the website is actually the one selling and converting. So that's a sales rep website. An e-commerce website, we all know what that is. A high target traffic generator website. See, normally, these are the ones that are based as a blog, but then they generate sales through the traffic that comes to the blog. So the first place is a blog. There are many companies that do this for training. First is the blog, and then they sell courses and all kind of different things. A platform, we know what a platform is. I'm sure you build lots of them. a SaaS. So I didn't know how technical the people were going to be, so I explained what a SaaS is. It's a software as a service tool online. Landing pages. So landing pages are the ones that you see they sell your book, and they tell, oh, this is the best book, bestseller, buy my book here. That's it. A landing page is basically a website that has one site. That's it. There's no more. There's no clicking and going here and there. One page. That's it. They're really bad for search engine optimization, but really good for conversion rate. So sometimes we mix landing pages with leaflet websites, for example. Because leaflet websites don't convert at all. They just have too much information in it. So you can mix actually landing pages with leaflet websites. So now let's talk about the user experience, because now we talk about I arrive to the website and I'm going to go if you're not interesting enough. But if you're interesting enough, what am I going to do? So this is how we actually train marketing companies to create or design their website. Potential clients visit your website, that's the first. Then what happened? Don't tell them what you do, but tell them what is in there for them. Then your USP, very important. Why you and not other people? Why are you so special? Why do I have to choose you? Then your service or products with a small description. So this thing about putting menus on top, new generations and nowadays, for about 8 years ago, we've tested, and it doesn't work anymore. People don't go in the menu. They just read the homepage. And most of the time, they're on mobile. And on mobile, you have to press the little 3 lines and go through the menu. People don't do that. So everything has to be on the homepage, everything important. In most websites, I mean, we design some websites too, we don't actually use menus on top. So your service or products with a small description. So you can have like squares, roundy designs, however you want to design it, but have the list of products and services, at least the categories, and then they can click on them and find the more detail about all the services. Don't give examples of what you have done. That's a mistake. Many companies, what they do is they say, we've worked, these are case studies, or this is the kind of work we've done for this company. Why is a mistake? Somebody could maybe think about why is a mistake to tell them examples of what you have done, which many companies do. Why shouldn't you? And more companies like you should never do that, for a very good reason.
They will start to compare.
It's not trustable.
I wouldn't say trustability.
Nobody? Why companies like you shouldn't do it more than anything? For something that you said just like 10 minutes ago. 10 minutes ago you said something that is the reason why you should not do that.
They don't know what the problem is, so...
You're close?
They don't know the process behind. They say, okay, why are you charging me this when you already did it? It's easy.
You're close?
So for us, it's to be sort of in the middle.
Exactly. What if you give me examples of things you have done and none of them is me? I'll go. Oh, this company actually won't be able to help me.
That's not entirely true. I mean, if telecom company is checking our site and they see that we work for telecom companies for 15 years, that's very relevant to them. So
It is relevant to them, but depending the job you did for them. If the job I need as a telecom is completely different, I might say, I might leave you open, but I will go somewhere else and see if somebody actually helps with my problem. So it's better to leave them in the, questioning and wondering, can they help me? Because they might contact you. But if you see all the case studies and nothing is any similar to what my problem is. Yes.
We've had the experience that when we put their certain names on it, that clients or suppliers of these companies want to work with us as well because of that,
Yes.
no
Yeah.
matter if the problem was totally different.
Okay, putting the name of the companies, it's good. So as I show you what companies we work with, I didn't tell you what I did for them. So saying we work with these companies gives you really good credibility. And I will say, oh, if they did that, I want to work with them. So totally agree with that.
It says here, don't give example of what you have done means without the client name on it, or what does that mean?
No, the detail.
Ah.
The detail. They actually, I've seen in some websites they give so much detail of the work they did. There's no need for that.
Right.
We've given solutions to these companies. So I will wonder what you did for them. But the detail is where it shouldn't be. And more with companies that do so many different things. If I was a company I just run social media, I can say, oh yeah, I work with this celebrity and they became famous. That's okay. But if you're giving lots of different services and solving different solutions, then you don't want to put them off. Have a video explaining what you do if possible. So having a very generic and very clear message of what you do in video with somebody, with a person talking. The thing is, so many videos are now done with animation and slides and all kind of things. No, have a person just talking and saying what they do. That makes a huge connection. And it's basically like coming to your company and talking to somebody. What do you do? Tell me what you do. So the video shouldn't be long, maximum a minute, but it should be a person talking directly to the camera. You can do animations like the important parts of what I'm saying, like in messages here, is good, because then people are actually reading and listening. They're using more senses, so it stays more in your memory. It's more memorable. And so yeah, you want that, but no animation, like complete animation, like a cartoon, which many companies do. So yeah, have a video in the homepage. I've seen companies that have really good videos, but you have to click on so many times to get actually to the video, when that video should be in the front of the page. Have a live chat. Well, somebody was talking about chats here. I listened to it, and it's exactly true, but have a live chat too, if possible. So if you can have a live chat, have it. If not, well, have a bot. Because bots are good for customer service. I was listening to the talk here, and it's really good for customer service. Like they were talking about insurance. If I have questions about insurance or something, perfect. But if you're selling, if you actually just, this is a cold visit, and you're selling something, it's better to have a live chat. Because they're not sure even what to ask. They're just, hello, this is my problem. You know, they actually don't know what to ask. So a live chat is pretty good. And it's easy now because most live chats connect to your phone. So there's no reason really not to have it. Put the menu on the footer. You want to have a menu. You think your website needs a menu. Perfect, put it in the footer. People nowadays go to the footer to get most of the information. So no contact us page, footer. Even if your footer is huge, it doesn't matter. But that's how behavior is nowadays. So this is what we test and we research. We make websites, and we have clients that actually come as testers, and we've seen that most people, when they want information, they go to the footer. This is not just in the UK. We test in different countries, in most countries that we work in. So put the menu in the footer, put your contacts, your lead generation, you know, if you have something for people to leave the email, contact you in a form, put it in a footer. Now, another reason before I get to that, another reason to put it in the footer is because when you put the menu on top, sometimes some people will go looking everywhere in the menu and click and click and click, and they miss the important information in the homepage. And they click so much, they're confused what you do, and they just leave your website. So we use a software that I'm going to recommend. I don't get commission, by the way. I'm going to recommend, which makes videos of people visiting your website. So you actually see a video of what people do. That's how we do the research. And you see that some people would just go clicking everywhere in the menu and don't read the homepage, because you can see how if they scroll, where the mouse goes, you can see everything. It's a free software. I'm going to show you which one it is. So you have to be careful with that. You don't want them to go bored of what you do and not reading actually what you can do for them. So that's why it's better to put in the, to get to the footer, they had to go through all the page, right? Set credibility and build a database. So building a database obviously is good for any company, any business. But the mistake that most companies do is they say sign for our newsletter, or if you want updates on our new projects, most people will not put the email for that because they don't want to receive emails. Nobody wants to receive emails. We receive enough emails. So give them a really good reason. So you can have, if it's a software, I mean, I don't know if you have your own software, but if it's a software, it's good to have a demo. So you can say, we'll send you the demo to your email. Obviously, don't tell them, leave your email here, or enter your email to see the demo. It's obvious that you're trying to get the email. But we'll send you, leave us your email to send you the demo. Then you're giving them a reason that it's not just building a database to actually get the email address, right? You can give them many other reasons. If the company is a B2B company, then you can, I've seen incredible ideas that some B2B companies have about techie papers, you know, white papers on whatever they're experts on. So to download them, you have to put your email because they're gonna send it to you, right? You're not gonna download it, it's gonna be sent to you. So if there's something that value that you can give to people that are not your customers yet, that is actually high value, like depending on your industry, it will be, you'll think about it. We'll send you information about this by email. Please leave us your email. Newsletters, just contact us. That's just not, it's not really efficient. You look like you have a question.
You've mentioned just now a software
Where you can watch people how they behave on the website.
Yeah.
Isn't that something against the European Union data protection law?
No, because it will only do it with people that have all the settings set for that. You know, you can switch off your cookies, you can do this and that, so it's only how you set up your browser.
Okay.
You can read all about the company, it's a massive company. It's not a dodgy software somewhere. So it's a company dedicated to conversion. So yeah, so basically that's the most, this is the basics that your website should have. A clear message, a clear way to get people's information. Now depending, you can have different things to download. So we've done with some companies, so we work with a company that does all the sticky bits for hospitals, you know, for operations, and so the clients is actually hospitals. And they have a lot of different downloads or information to send on how to use the products, on why they need the products, and how you can use different ideas. So you know who's actually leaving the email. Is it the doctor? Is it the owner of the hospital? Is it the government? Is it because depending on what they're downloading. So what you put in a PDF can actually filter the type of person that is leaving the email. Do you understand what I mean? Is it a tech person? If the paper is very technical, then it's going to be a techie person. If it's a general information, might be the admin. Okay, so depending what you give them to download or what to watch, videos are better. People don't want to read PDFs. So if you can actually give videos on how the process of your company is, for example, would you like to know how we work? And you can put all the process of the company, all the process you go through the clients. That's something I will watch because I want to know how you work. And more because most companies have already worked with other people that do the same, and they know exactly what they're missing. And if you're doing it, I'm going to choose you. So a video on how you work, the processes you follow, about the company, you know, the countries you're in, and different things. So we all know Google, I guess Google Analytics. I don't know if you all have used it. It's very useful. Most people underestimate it. They see in analytics how many visits they have, how many unique visits, but they actually don't see the detail. So Google tells you exactly what people do, which is what the video does too. But in the video, obviously, you see if they scroll, where the mouse goes, you see the very detail, right? Here you see the actual journey, the experience of the user. So this is how you need to design your website. So you should have your website, version 1, okay? You put it out, you bring traffic, and then you look at this. Are people doing what you want them to do, or they're doing something completely different? Depending what they do, you move things on the website. So is everybody going to that page? Okay, is that page important? And for example, I've seen in companies that everybody's going to contact us, but nobody's contacting them. Right? So there is a study to do there. Why are hundreds of people going to contact us and nobody's contacting you? Or why so many people are going to this product, but nobody's buying it? Why so many people looking for this service, but nobody's asking for it? So maybe the journey is pushing them there, so it's the most obvious, but it's actually not the place they should be gone. So, you have a question? Yes. And then you change it, of course. So that's why a website has to have version 1, version 2, version 3, until you'll never be happy, but until you see at least people are following what you want them to do, because you have to have an idea, we're going to talk about that, of what you want people to do in your website. What's the process? If they're not following it, it's because the website is not encouraging it. Things are in the wrong place. Okay, and Google Analytics tells you exactly where they go. Now, this software that I'm going to share with you does it too. Oh, well, it's here, actually, Hotjar, hotjar.com. If it's only one website, you don't have to pay. It's free. If you're an agency and you have lots of websites like us, we actually pay for it. It's one of the many we use, but that one is good. And Google Analytics, obviously. Very important to know the behavior. For us, it's all about behavior online. So, one of the things that is really important, and is, yes?
Can we go into this? I mean,
yes, of course.
Austria recently released a new law that even questioned the whole Google Analytics against the data protection, right? So companies right now in Austria have a problem when they use Google Analytics, and Germany wants to do a similar thing right now.
I know, we're very fresh about that in the UK.
Yeah, exactly. So, and at the same time, at the moment, even like Google Fonts is even a problem because it goes straight to the US servers, so technically it's against the data protection laws. So at the moment, looking at this with like, okay, Google Analytics, you take another software, you have all your user behavior, that is something that, I mean, in Austria especially, we would have to look into this in more detail because, and setting some legal expert on it, because at the moment, like, what's today? Today's what? Friday. Tuesday, there's been 50,000 companies in Austria have been contacted by a lawyer who specializes this because of their Google fonts, and they have to deal with this garbage now, right? And so I'm not sure if this is really possible to implement.
I have a solution for you.
Okay.
I work with companies all around the world, so
we can talk afterwards about it.
no, it would be useful for everybody. If you're in a country that has a lot of laws, the UK has a lot of laws, but it's not as strict in the sense of this company has a lot of ways that they do it through cookies and different things. So if you have the cookies on, you can do it, etc., etc. But if you
so European alternatives to Hotjar that does the same, like mouseflow.com. So I think I just looked briefly. I think there are like some 3,800 Hotjar customers in Austria. So it wouldn't be the first. That's not whether it's legal or not, but I think there are also European alternatives.
Yeah, it's a massive company, so it's not a dodgy little company. Yeah. And they work with massive industries. But another solution, if you want to be happy with it, is actually market research. So you can actually ask, there's another software, I can send it to you later, I don't remember the name, that what it does, it asks people, did you find what you were looking for? I'm sure you've seen it in the websites. Did you find what you're looking for? Are you clear about what we do? And they actually give you feedback. So that's very useful too. So let's talk about website speed. That's something that is very underestimated. Everybody knows that websites. This is not for search engine optimization. It's all about conversion rate here. So yeah, website optimization, website should be fast. How fast should a website be? Like when you open a website, how fast should it load? 2 seconds, yeah, that's correct. Most websites don't. Most websites are between 5 and 10 seconds. Now, it's not because people are in a hurry, but they just don't like a website that is slow because every time they go to a different site and a different site is just slow. And testing it, we've seen that the conversion rate is about 50% less in websites that are 5 to 10 seconds. So there is page speed, which is a website that you go, you put your website, it tells you how fast is your website. But it doesn't tell you just how fast is your website, it tells you what's the problem in your website. So what are the parts that are not as fast as they should be, and it even tells you why and what solutions you can have. So that's a very useful website to have. Well, I had a slide after that was really techy, but I thought I don't know how techy you all are, so I took it off because I develop websites, so I don't know how. Oh.
Page speed like 80, 90, 100.
Sorry, I didn't hear the first part.
What is the score you are trying to achieve on this tool for your website?
For this website?
Yeah.
To make it faster, basically.
Yeah.
So when you go here, you. Oh, the score. No, it tells you just the seconds. It tells you this part takes this amount of seconds, this part takes because the website is not just one site. So each site, or when you click in each hyperlink, will actually, some will be 3 seconds, some will be 5 seconds. So your whole website has different seconds of loading. Like if you have too many pictures and you don't know how to optimize the pictures, that's normally the problem with websites.
I think it's the same thing as Lighthouse, but he mentions that this page, this is Google service.
Yeah, that's a Google service actually.
It provides
Yeah.
the Core Web Vitals scoring for mobile.
Oh yes, there are some with scoring as well.
Those are page speed insights, I think.
Oh, there are loads. Yeah. This is I'm putting here something you don't have to pay or is easy to use. So there's some solutions. They're not too techy ones, because the techy ones is normally CSS is not properly done, so it actually can double the time of loading if your CSS is not clear. But let's go for the basics, okay? Pictures. So some people think that when you compress pictures, pictures lose resolution. It's kind of true, but it depends what you use. So you can actually make images like less heavy, as we call it, without losing much of the resolution. It's almost, you almost don't realize. If you have a big banner, what's the problem with websites? They put this big banner, it's super heavy, and it takes for ages, and the text appears and the banner doesn't. That's terrible. So you can actually make it as good as to be a banner, but be a lot lighter. So I don't have an English accent, by the way. I said lighter. Most people say, don't you come from England? No, I have more of an American accent than English. So Adobe Photoshop does it, Squoosh, and all these these are the ones we use. I mean, I'm sure there are loads of them. So in addition to compressing the websites, you can also choose an SEO-friendly file format, like PNG or JPEG. So sometimes people just download pictures from free, websites that have free pictures, and they don't realize that the format is very important. Some of them are just not SEO friendly and are very heavy. So PNG and JPEG are normally the best ones to use. So then the other one is using a CDN. Everybody knows what a CDN is? Last night I was thinking, how am I going to explain what a CDN is?
Because Google is now penalizing in terms of page speed index.
Well, it depends. If it's actually light, it doesn't. If it's heavy, it does.
Yeah. These formats, I mean, if you use Cloudflare will deliver next generation So that's why you use Cloudflare to get rid of PNG and JPEG.
You can do that too.
Yeah.
Yes. So these are different options. Now Cloudflare, what it does, it kind of like caches your website and then keeps it, so it doesn't have to load all the time. Basically, the CDNs, what they do is they keep a version of it. So when you load it, it's already there. Well, if you don't do that, it's loading every time for new, if you're a new person watching the website, it's going to load for first time. If it's in Cloudflare or any of them, it will actually already be loaded. Losing my voice. So a third one, I had 10 different reasons, but as I said, I didn't want to get very technical. So a third one is the hosting, of course. In the UK, many companies have American hosting. Not sure why, because the British hostings are pretty good. So if you have it in a different zone, this is like coming to Sibenik from, Sada, or coming from Split, right? So it makes a difference in the loading of the website for many technical reasons, but I don't want to get into the technical reasons. So basically, yeah, try to use hosting as close as possible to your country or to the people that you are working with. So for example, we work with China and Hong Kong. So we have a version in Chinese of our website that actually loads from a hosting in China, and a version in English and a version in Spanish for South America. And they're hosted in different places. That can make a massive difference too. I mean, you literally can do half the time by just making that changes. Now there are changes in CSS, there are changes in your JavaScript, there are changes in lots of different things. But that technical bits, you can just Google how to make your page fast, optimizing my CSS or JavaScript, and there are lots of different ways to do it.
CDN, then you don't need to worry about this third option, because CDN alone.
Yes, correct. So if you're using this, then you have pretty much all solved. But if you don't want to use CDN because maybe you don't understand yet how to use it, Cloudflare can be confusing to people that are not very technical. So you can do the other two. Yes.
With Cloudflare, we had a test in China, and it works in the big cities, but it doesn't work in China when you have industrial clients in the industry area. It doesn't work, like it doesn't load. So
yeah,
I can see your point, and I'm very positively impressed by that you said that you host your Chinese website in China, because this is the absolute recommendation. And Cloudflare in China, or the Amazon thing as well, we had that as long as it's like, we tried it in Shanghai, in the middle of it, and because there's a super hub, there are 2 super hubs in Shanghai, and each of them has like 8 to 12 sub hubs, and it goes down sub hub, sub hub, sub hub.
Yeah.
And by the time when your production industrial firm, who's your client, is out there with the 7th sub hub, the slower it gets, and then the Cloudflare doesn't really work anymore. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
No, it's China is a completely different market. When I speak in China, it's not just in Chinese. I don't speak Chinese, but I do have the 2 versions. But it's a completely different presentation, because you can't use Google Cloud. Amazon says you can use it in China, but it's touch and go. So we actually host in Chinese companies. We have a Chinese team there, and we actually have Chinese hosting companies, and it's great. It's really, really good. So yes, for China, it's all very special. Like when I talk about social media, that all gets very confusing in China. I have to talk about very dodgy things like using VPN and all these kind of things. So yeah. So this is something that, yeah, I know you don't know. It's okay. So let's talk about creating a user experience map, which is mainly what I came here for. So the behavior, we've been talking about the behavior of people. You have to consider all these things. Now you work for other people that tell you already how they want the website, but if you have your opinion about when you brainstorm or argue, then the funny thing is, when I talk to clients, we make websites not very sophisticated, but when I talk to a client, When I ask them, you know, who's your typical client, it's so hard to get that question. Even if it's B2B, they just, you know, it's actually the B2C that are easy. The B2B, they are like anybody. That's not true. It's not anybody. There's always a pattern in the companies that come to you. Some kind of pattern. Not the industry necessarily, but the type of company. So you have to understand who are the ones that you're attracting already. So these websites are not to make when you just haven't had business yet. The website when you haven't had business yet should be completely different than when you're in business, because when you're in business, you know who are your perfect clients. You already know who are just too much trouble, what are the ones that you don't want to work with. Like I used to work with startups. I work with startups in a different way now, but when I used to do marketing for startups, it's the worst. They have no idea about anything. They don't even know who they want as clients, right? But when you work with medium size or big sizes, then they know exactly. Even Costa Coffee could sell coffee to anybody. But we make a specific pattern of the people that buy Costa Coffee. Even how much they earn, where do they live, what kind of jobs they have. We went so detailed about who buys Costa Coffee. While most companies will say, well, we sell coffee, anybody can drink it. That's completely the wrong answer. Okay, so create user personas. So if you say, well, different type of people, that's okay. Different type of people will have different user experience. But you need to understand what's that kind of people. Who are the people that search for you? Like when somebody contacts you from nowhere, like from the internet, is it the admin? Is it the boss? Is it the who is it? Because that makes a huge difference in the conversion rate. Who are you talking to? So in most big companies, it wouldn't be the boss, right? The boss will send somebody else to, to do that job. So who is the person you're talking to when you actually make a website? Because most of the time they say to a business, in that business, who is the one? What's the job? Are they technical? Because then if you get too technical and it's just the admin, then, you know. I work with very big companies that have offices all around the world. And in different countries, it's different. It's very interesting. So in some countries, the boss will make sure it's right. So when the admin says, we think this is a company you could use, he will go to the website and make sure it is. While in England, for example, whatever the admin says is done. Okay, because they can't be bothered, they're too busy people, right? So she says that's a good one, let's try it. So you need to understand in different countries it's different. And the age as well, like in Dubai. So I work with companies in Dubai, they're very young, right? They're like 18 to 25. And they're pretty much in the high end of the company. While in the UK, it will be between 40 and 50, because it will be the admin, and it will be a woman. So you see, you have to really understand who you're talking to. This makes a huge difference in conversion. I know so many big companies that say we don't get any client from the internet. Yeah, I'm not surprised when I see the website. So they are all constantly cold calls, emails, because they can't rely on the website. So what do they have it for? Just as a brochure. So divide the user journey into stages. That's very important because some parts will depend on different people. So when I come to the website and I just browse, is the marketing department in charge of that bit. But when I start the chat, it's the sales department who is in charge. And when I then have a meeting, is the ops maybe that is going to be in charge. So divide all the stages and divide all the website into different stages that are responsible, making sure that it's optimized. Key points of interaction: chat, email, phone. That's pretty much most of them. But I heard today, I don't know who was speaking, said in the US is SMS. It's true. So make sure in the country that you're selling, you're using the right channels. Like in China, it's WeChat. So you have to, and for business, right? You're talking to big businesses on a WeChat, where there are like young girls as well selling cosmetics. So it's a bit confusing. You're talking to, you're talking to businesses, but then you pass them past the user, and it's a young girl selling cosmetics. So you need to know, understand who you're selling to in each country. So conduct user research. Well, Hotjar, market research, pop-ups, and map out the user experience. So that's something that we're gonna do right now. So most companies' user experience, when I ask them, what's your user experience? They say they go to a website and they contact us. That's it, 2 steps. That's not true. Okay, so that's just like the actor page that was like, oh, we're fine, our website is fine, everything is fine. It's not. So the user experience should be not just where they click, but first we have here the client experience. So do you have information in your website where the client needs to go to your website all the time, like insurances, banks? They have a completely different user experience because they have a client experience and they have a potential client experience. So then you have to have 2 different journeys. And then you have obviously the potential client. Okay, so we have the visitor here, and I'm terrible at drawing, so I'm just gonna do that. Okay, comes to the website, right? So they come with what is the mood they come with? Curious, right? Curious, confused. Is this for me? They don't know yet. So here is the most important thing. So this is like when you date. The first thing you say is it, right? Oh my God, you have beautiful eyes. You're out. Okay? So as a hobby, I actually teach dating. This is why I can joke about it. So so this is exactly the same. Okay? So you are going to tell them something and they're going to say, forget it, or I'll continue listening to you. Okay? So this is the first 2 seconds, really, because it depends on how your website looks as well. I go to websites that I can't even be bothered to read the first sentence. From the 90s. You know, what do you expect from a website in the 90s when you're doing digital? No way. I actually just redid a website that was from the 90s, and they've been using it until now. So, first 2 seconds, bang. Okay, now I read the message. Because they're curious and confused, they just don't know yet. Okay. Then the mood is a maybe. Okay? This is like the guy, after telling you that you have beautiful eyes, will tell you, do you want a drink? And you think, maybe, right? So, maybe. What happens here? This is when you have your USP. What's unique about this guy? I don't know. Or what is unique about this girl? The thing is, with guys works better because normally it's the guy the one that approach. I don't know in this country, maybe it's the girl that approach. I don't know. But depending who approaches, there is a maybe of, do I accept the drink or not? Okay? So that's your USP. Then we're talking about what's different between you. What's special about you? You have a pretty face, that's not good enough. What else do you have, right? So, that's USP. Okay, your USP is quite interesting. I'm still not sure about it. Okay, so here was your design and message of what is for me, what can you do for me. Here's your USP. Then it's like what normally I ask a guy, what you do, right? What you do. Businesses are so much like marriage and dating, and you're convincing somebody to get in there with you, right? So what you do. Services. Now, when you say what you do, you're not going to tell them that your grandfather was I don't know what, and that your grandmother was, you're not going to go, and now we're talking about it, right? You just say, I'm an engineer, I'm a developer, right? So have the services in the homepage with a really little description of, you know, each service with a very little description. That is enough to know, but if they want to know more, they go in, okay? So now once you give them the services, they think, oh, is this for me? Right? So this is like when a guy comes to me and says, I'm a soldier in Afghanistan, you think, that's very brave. Maybe he's good looking, maybe he's very nice, but I don't want to date somebody that is going to die somewhere. So, is this really for me? Okay, so that's when you have to convince them. Yes, this is for you, this is what we do. So, from here, you have to have either a demo, a video. Video is great with the person talking. A chat that says, do you have any questions? Or you can have a diagram, they're good too, that explains what kind of things you do. No details of what you have done, okay? That is not enough. So here is where I'm gonna be a bit more clear of how my future might be with this guy, right? Still, I don't know, I'm not sure, but maybe, okay? So, there you go, but I'm almost convinced. So what happens after? So the person leaves, right? You say, sorry, I just got a call and I have to leave. Happens often. So, leaves. Or continues and asks questions, contacts you. Right? So now talking about Austria and the UK. In the UK, we have, I mean, this software I'm sure is used by Austrians and I'm sure he might Google it. But there is a company called Leadfeeder. With Leadfeeder, it will, if you are a Google user or you have before registered with Leadfeeder or if you used it, Leadfeeder will tell you who's the person that went to your website without them leaving you the email. And it will give you the email of the person. Okay. So Leadfeeder is really, I mean, it's really good. It's legal in the UK. I'm sure it might have been used in Austria or in Europe. I don't have a lot of experience with Austria or Switzerland. I do have German clients, but German is very different than Switzerland. So yeah, so basically it will tell you these are all the visits and these are people that we have information about. So you know, you won't get all of them, but you get quite a lot. So then you can contact them back and say, hey, I've seen you visit my website, which has happened to me. You visit our website, do you have any questions? And in fairness, in the UK we're used to that, so I didn't take it like, ooh, but it depends on the country, okay? In the UK we're so into marketing, we're not in the level of Americans. Leadfeeder. Leadfeeder. Sometimes they're bought by somebody else, so I'm not sure if it's still the name, but it's still the name? All these companies get bought by yeah, they are. Finnish, they are, yeah. There you go. It's very, very useful. So you know who actually visited you. And it tells you the company they work for or they own. So it tells you, yeah, it tells you all the information you want, literally. So they left or they contact you, and then it's the salespeople's problem, right? I didn't come here to talk about sales. So once they contact you, there you go. But this is what you have to do with your potential clients and with your clients. Your client's experience will be about support or about, you know, other questions. It can be payments, bills, and other things. So you have to know you have to map the experience and understand the motivation. Like, you have to understand the maybe, the what do you do? Is it this for me? These questions are really important. You need to be able to answer that questions. Sorry, my writing is not really good. Yes?
One question I was wondering, before mapping out all of these steps here you just talked about, shouldn't we, as a company, make sure first that we are offering something that people actually want?
Of course. I mean, that's
like a precondition then.
There's that.
don't create a company that you sell something that people don't want. Actually, you know, I teach startups. I had a startup since I was 18. My dad was an entrepreneur. I became an entrepreneur at 18. And now I have an accelerator on startups. And some startups that pitch to us, I mean, they think it's a great idea. And it sounds like a great idea. But because they don't have the experience, I can see that that's not going to sell because nobody's going to buy it. So yes, that's a pre-requirement to actually run a company, is make sure that people want it. I had the luck to talk to Richard Branson. We spoke in the same event. And I had the moment to ask only one question. And my question was, how do you decide what to do? Because I have many startups and many companies since I was 18. And he said, the best thing to do to be sure is to create something that already exists, that you have competition, but do it better. And you know what, if you think about what he's done, airlines, internet, I mean, everything he does, there's tons of people doing it. Now, cruises, you know, but because you learn from the mistakes of the others. So most people that start startups, they actually think about a unique sale. How can I create something that nobody else sells? That's the worst. I mean, that's not just a risk, it's most likely a failure, because if nobody did it, there is a reason, right? So yes, when creating, you have to make sure that either it exists already, or
a way of disrupting a market with the underground transport system, which
yes.
kind of didn't pan out in the end. So yeah.
Oh, he's failed many times,
yeah.
But he continues. And when you've created so many companies, I mean, I don't want to say I'm quite young because I'm not that young, but I failed many times. And when when you're ready to fail and to succeed, it doesn't matter, right? So if nobody else has any questions about this, I'm going to talk about traffic generation. So traffic generation is actually the second most important thing, apart from your message. Why? Because if you're bringing the wrong traffic, it's not going to convert. And this is what most companies do. They pay Google Ads, and they think, whoa, we're going to get thousands of visits in my website, and they get no clients. So 2 reasons. The website is not converting because it's a bad website, you know, in the sense of how it's designed, or because the people that are coming are not good. Okay? And that's something that is one of the major mistakes companies do. Pay Google Ads, pay social ads, and even though you target, still you have to test it and see if the people are interested. So let's talk about how to choose what to pay if you're going to invest your money. So let's talk about B2B, because I think that's what you are, right? I prefer B2Bs than B2Cs. B2Cs are much harder to target than B2Bs, because B2Bs know exactly who their clients are. B2Cs are like, everybody can be my client. So B2Bs, there are different channels. I'm going to put them here, and then we're going to talk about it. So we have social, right? Social media, social in general. We have paid ads, right? You have native marketing. Does everyone know what native marketing is? Only one person said yes. Do you know what native marketing is? Okay. It's basically the ads that appear at the bottom of newspapers and blogs and everything. I'm done with the dating comparisons. Okay, native marketing. What else do we have? Yeah, well, SEO normally, yeah. Or SERP, basically organic, yeah. Okay, offline. Yeah, word of mouth. I mean, these are the most common, okay? For B2Bs, I would suggest doing all of them, for sure. And social media, this is what I normally talk in most events, is actually a very important one, but not to sell. So social media will not bring your clients. Okay? This is something we were talking about yesterday, do you remember? Yes, so people do this. This is actually not very popular anywhere, but it's very effective and extremely cheap. Search engine optimization, that's another talk, and offline, right? But let's talk about social. Social media is really underestimated because most people don't know how to do social media. This is actually how I started my business. I started 15 years with social media, speaking about business on social media, because nobody understands how to use social media. Now there are some more people understand, but it's not just about the content. The content is actually not that important. You can put anything you want, it won't make any difference. It's the interaction and the reason you do social media. So the reason you do social media is mainly for awareness. Why do you need awareness? We just created a software and nobody knows us, and it's a software for universities. Every university we go to is like, why you? Why should I buy from you? And no matter how the website says or anything, we're nobody. All right? We're not Microsoft Teams, we're not Google Classroom. So we're nobody. So awareness is a major thing when selling, in your website, offline, and anywhere. Okay? How do you create awareness on social media? Posting? No. Nobody puts likes to post anymore. Nobody even shares your post anymore. How many likes you have is irrelevant because they're sold. You can buy likes, you can buy views, you can buy followers, you can buy everything. Most influencers nowadays bought their followers to about 1 million, and then people go to the website, to the Instagram and say, oh, it has 1 million, I'll follow too. Everything is fake. How do you actually create awareness on social media? Education. Education is the most important thing on social media. If you're just posting about stuff, who you are, what you do, that's just a waste of time. And marketing departments spend in salaries huge amounts on people posting and doing all kinds of stuff that they shouldn't be doing. Awareness, you only create it by education. So why do companies come to me? Because they know I train people. They know I've trained companies. They know I speak online, I speak everywhere. So there's an awareness, for example, in the UK, in the area of speaking, that I speak about social media normally. So people come to me and say, help me with my social media. Because they heard of me. I've done lots of interviews, BBC, etc. People heard of me. If people never heard of you, that's a much harder sell. And social media helps you for that. And everybody's on social media. Nobody can tell me it's not on social media. Because if you watch a YouTube video, you're on social media. So when people say to me, I'm not on social media, you've never watched a YouTube video? Nobody can say no, right? Right. You know the average user of TikTok goes from 13 to 50. It's crazy, right? But I'm not suggesting to use TikTok in general. That depends on your industry. But awareness is all about education. So what you do as a company, you post videos. You educate your clients. So how does your client, it's interesting because many of you say the client doesn't know they have a problem, right? That's what you're going to teach them on social media. What are the typical problems? What are the mistakes companies do? Why they need you? That has to go in a video. Did you know that, or do you have this problem? Do you have problems with your e-commerce or whatever? Give them solutions, teach them. I do a lot of teaching for free. And the more I teach for free, and the more I teach, the more clients I get and better paid. People are afraid of telling how they do things. And don't be afraid of telling them how you do it. Because they know they can't do it by themselves. They will come to you. And they know you're good because you're showing that you're expert. Right? So show your expertise, teach your clients. And this Siemens is really good at it. I mean, I worked for Siemens, but not on social media. I was the IT manager. But the marketing department was genius about it. They taught people about all kinds of things, from how to solve the problems they have with the traffic lights to everything that Siemens did. There was a video about how to solve the problem, how to deal with this, how to deal with that, and what to do, how to do it. Amazing the amount of videos they had, and they're huge on social media. And Siemens is a total B2B company. But they started this 15 years ago. They were in social media when nobody was on social media. They actually were on Second Life. Did you ever heard of Second Life? Most people have no. Siemens used to run workshops on Second Life 15 years ago. They actually are the ones who motivated me to do this because businesses don't understand how to use social media. So awareness, education. Teach your potential clients on what problems they have that they don't know. Because they don't know they need you. But you can make them believe that they need you by just educating them. It's like I'm sure some of you said, maybe like he was saying, I would like you to look at my website. Why? Because I'm making you here aware of my experience, that I do this for a living, so I already get credibility straight away. This is exactly what you do on social media. Build awareness, credibility. You want people to say, I've heard of your company. People are on LinkedIn, people are on YouTube, people are on Facebook, people are still on Facebook, my generation. Instagram is pretty much in the whole Europe and all ages. It's incredible. You have from grandmas to kids, all kind of people on Instagram. Imagine making videos about actually the problems that typically your clients have. So this is why social media is not very popular with B2B, because they don't know what they're doing. Just educate and make people aware of their problems. And if your clients normally don't know the problems they have, it's even better, much easier to do. Because all you're going to do is tell them what problems they have already. Anybody has any questions? No? And what social medias you should use? You should use them all. You have the government of the UK on TikTok. In times of COVID, the World Health Organization, they were actually giving all the news about COVID on TikTok. People training people on TikTok. So don't underestimate any social network. People are on it. So.
For a lot of engagement and working hours, they will not get so much attention because
there is no engagement on social media. So don't expect engagement. Don't expect likes.
No. I meant they will invest time or money in it, and it's pretty hard on social media to,
That's because they're posting. Post videos of education, but not just post anything. Companies spend too much time focusing on content. I mean, nothing personal here. I know you work on content, but social media is not about content. It's about educating. And obviously the content of the education, but it's about education, not about posting general information, which people do a lot on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. And engagement, there is no engagement anymore on social media. People read, people watch, people do, but they don't like, they don't comment. Don't take it personal, it's just normal. It's the way it is in the last 10 years. There is no interaction on social media, less on Twitter. That doesn't mean people don't see it.
I meant, even if you educate, that you will just drown in the sea of content there. I don't know, in every second there is like gigabytes of videos is uploaded on YouTube or something. You're just afraid that you will invest the time of your employees and money, and you will just drown in
That's because you're not actually doing a report on the results. So that's when I said about what we research is return on investment. You have to have a return on investment. If you don't have return on investment, fire everybody. There's no point in wasting. You have to have a return on investment. And that can be done. I always say, if you don't have a system to see if you have return on investment on social media, you're better off social media, so don't use it. When companies say, I'm doing halfway, you're better off not doing social media than not doing it 100%. So if you're going to get into social media 100%, but it makes a huge difference in credibility, awareness, and when you approach a company, they heard of you, and more in countries that are smaller. Like to do awareness in the United States is the hardest thing you can ever do. In the UK, it's pretty hard because it's 80 million people. But in countries that have, 8 million people, 10 million people, 4 million people, that is the easiest thing to do. When we work with small companies, sorry, small countries, is the easiest thing. How much is the population of Croatia?
4 million.
That's very small. I have to do with 80 million in the UK and some 2 billion in China. So yeah. And remember that on social media, it only shows people what they watch. So they're not watching everything, only what they're interested in. Lost my voice. Good. Okay, so anybody has any other questions? Because this is the end.